What price will it be for Bitcoin?
About 175,000 for the price of Bitcoin by the end of this year.
Bitcoin lost 70% of its value over the next year. That was in 2018.
Bitcoin is not a currency.
So if you really want to maximize your opportunity, you want to move as much of your liquid capital as close to Bitcoin or the Bitcoin network as possible, because it is this monetary network that's going from $1 trillion, and presumably it could be worth 100 trillion or more, because the sum total of all money in the world is maybe $400 trillion worth of stocks, real estate, bonds, and the like. Half of that is looking for a store of value, and the other half, honestly, truly wants to be invested in stocks or bonds or real estate. We've lost price discovery in the financial universe. So the single most accretive way to use money or time is invest in Bitcoin, because you've got a once in a lifetime, once in 50 years, transformation where all of this $200 trillion of money sitting in analog fiat instruments is being encrypted and converted into a digital instrument, which is thermodynamically superior, right? That's the first observation. Time is money. Convert your money into Bitcoin or something as close to it as you can. And the second is time. Well, any time you're spending analyzing, it's like go to Venezuela, analyze every company, every piece of real estate, every bond index in Venezuela, and figure out which ones you want to invest in. And the answer, Angelo, is it's all a waste of time, right? Everything you're doing, if you're analyzing frequencies of a minute, a day, a week, a month, that's a waste of time. If I told you I know how it all ends, once you know how it all ends, the only use of time is, how do I buy more Bitcoin? But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business that's in your family for 37 years and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth, which is Bitcoin. So what I would say is, use all your time to acquire Bitcoin, finance entities and weaker currencies to buy Bitcoin, or educate yourself on why this makes sense if you're not sure, and then educate everybody around you. If you're working for a company that's got $100 million in the treasury, you ought to convince the CEO and the board of directors to convert the treasury to Bitcoin. That's the most accretive thing you can do. That'd be worth billions to them. If you were to say to me, Mike, it's the year 2000, you're in Argentina, what's the best use of your time? The best use of my time is figure out how to get all of my money converted into dollars and get it out of Argentina, because I'm going to lose 99.5% of the money if I don't. Nothing else matters.
Do you believe in the 80-20 rule, which I know could apply to Bitcoin, but I'm going to evolve that a little bit. Why not apply the 80-20 rule to the top 20%? That's 64% of effects for just 4% of the causes. And how about, again, the multiplier effect?
There's 5,000 publicly traded companies. What I'm telling you is that none of them matter. I'm not telling you to evaluate 1,000 of them or 20% of them. Like, if you're in an airplane and someone punches their elbow through the window and it's depressurizing, and you have a million things you could think about or do, when the oxygen mask drops out of the space above your head, there's only one thing that matters. Put the oxygen mask on. You don't need to overanalyze. There's one thing that matters a lot. I'm not quite sure where to go with the 80-20. If you gave me a sample of things, I would tell you whether I'd look at 20%. But what I would say is if there's 100 people in front of you and one of them has a gun and they're pointing it at you, that's the one to duck.
With interest rates close to zero, why doesn't every corporate issue convertible debt basically at zero, buy Bitcoin, and then lend out the Bitcoin at 6 to 8%?
They should. The most screaming home run idea right now is you borrow $1 billion at 1, 2, 3, 5% interest, and you buy $1 billion in Bitcoin, which is yielding 200% over the last decade. It's a 200% arbitrage. The fulcrum is Bitcoin. It's the hard point, and the lever is just leverage. The best idea for everybody is finance your future cash flows in a weak currency and buy a strong asset with them.
Does the Grayscale Trust going from a massive premium to NAV discount pose any unknown risk?
I don't think so. I mean, the marketplace is now just arbitraging out the premium to normal, but if Bitcoin goes up by a factor of 10, Grayscale would be a good investment.
The Genesis block is unique because it has 50 Bitcoin reward subsidy that can never be spent. Is this symbolic, or is this part of what makes Bitcoin blockchain technically superior?
I think it's symbolic to a lot of people because there's a religious component to Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin is a bank in cyberspace with no more than 21 million units. And the value of Bitcoin is going to approach the sum of all the money that's deposited in that bank, adjusted for the fiat currency inflation rate. Take how much money's in the bank, divide by 21 million. If they did move, it wouldn't matter to me. If they don't move, it's better if they don't, but at the end of the day, there's 21 million Bitcoin. If $1 trillion is invested in Bitcoin, that tags Bitcoin at about $50,000 a coin. When someone buys another $1 trillion worth of it, the price is going up, and then the price is going up based upon the rate of monetary inflation because it's the safe haven.
Since Bitcoin blockchain is a dominant digital monetary network, will applications eventually be built on the Omni layer that fosters innovation in NFTs, igniting the Bitcoin blockchain to become the underpinnings of the Internet of Value?
I think there'll be an explosion of all sorts of layer 2 solutions. They're already there. Coinbase is a layer 2 solution. Binance is a layer 2 solution. Square